We're ready, President Kalpayan.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the August 16, 2021 Parks, Recreation, and Community Services meeting. To help slow the transmission of COVID-19 and protect the health and safety of the community, City Council, as well as board and commission meetings, will continue to be closed to the public for in-person attendance. The public is encouraged to watch the participate from the safety of their homes to practice social distancing. The meeting can be viewed on local cable charter cable channel 6 and AT&T Uverse channel 99, streaming in high definition online at glendaleca.gov.live, youtube.com myglendale, and the free app called Screenwave on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices. Choose Glendale TV from the menu. The public comments and questions during the meeting, call 818-937-8100. 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting these questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person during the Glendale City Council meeting. With that being said, can we have the roll, please?
Chair
Call the roll.
Commissioners Potel,
Here.
Sardarbegian, Sardarbegian,
Oh, I was muted. Sorry. Present.
Wolfson is absent, and Commissioner Meek
Here.
and President Kalpayan.
Yes.
The agenda for the August 16, 2021 regular meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on or before August 13, 2021. Item 2, introductions and presentations. At A is introduction of new Commissioner Stephen Meek.
Thank you, President Kalfai and members of the commission. I'd like to introduce our newest commissioner, Commissioner Stephen Meek. He's been a Glendale resident for 21 years. He currently is an assistant editor for Netflix animation, editing a number of really cool movies and shows that I've watched and my kids have watched, which is pretty interesting. He's in a number of organizations and activities. He's currently the president of the Adams Hill Neighborhood Association, a board member for Alex Film Society, and a board member for Brand Associates. Commissioner Meek has been actively promoting parks in Glendale for over 10 years. He currently has a number of events at Adams Square Mini Park. He just organized the National Night Out event. He organizes artist receptions, art in the park, book fairs, caroling with Santa, and a number of events at Adams Square Mini Park. The first time I had him meet Commissioner Meek was, I believe, in April of 2015 at the Fremont Park community meeting, the first community meeting. And after that, met him a number of times at Verdugo Park community meeting and a number of other community meetings. He loves our parks in Glendale, and we are very happy and excited to have him on board. And staff and I are looking forward to working with him during his capacity as a commissioner. So Commissioner Meek, we do welcome you aboard.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next item.
Next is item 3, upcoming council agenda items.
Thank you, President Kalfai and members of the commission. We do have a number of items coming up this month. Next week, August 24th, we have 2 reports. The first report is allocating California Department of Aging Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act for the Elderly Nutritional Meals Program. Second item is appropriating funds for the annual operation of the Stone Barn Nature Education Center at Tukmajan Park. And on September 14th, we're taking a joint report with Public Works on executing a contract for construction management services for Fremont Park renovation project.
Okay, next item, please. Thank you. Any questions? I'm sorry. Are there any questions from the commissioners? Okay. Next item, Iris.
Next is item 4, commission staff comments.
Okay, let's welcome Commissioner Meek. Let me give you a chance for each one of us. We'll start with Commissioner Eberly. No, Patel, I'm sorry.
Welcome, Commissioner Meeks. I'm very excited to hear about your involvement in Glendale City Parks all these years. And I'm really looking forward to having you be a part of this team. Thanks for joining us.
I am very pleased and honored to be part of it. Parks has been a high priority for me for many years. And I've actually lived in Glendale since 1980 and have spoken to City Council several times on the different park projects. And I'm worked with Teresa, with Onig, with Coco, Chris. I think we have a great staff in our Parks Department, and they do a wonderful job. And I'm very much looking forward to working even closer with them.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Are you true, Commissioner Patel? Okay. Commissioner Sardarbekian?
Welcome. I guess I'm not the rookie anymore, but welcome. It's great that you've joined the team, and I think that there's a lot we could do going forward. So appreciate you being with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I like to welcome you, and with all your experience, I'm looking to solve all the challenges that we have as we go on.
Great. I'm looking forward to it too.
Okay, next item, please.
Next is item 5, oral communications. We don't have any callers. Item 6, consent items. At A, approval of the minutes of the commission regular meeting held on June 21st, 2021.
Okay. We have a quorum, right?
Yes, we did.
We do. Okay. Can I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
I so move.
I don't know if we can move it. Can he move it? No.
Commissioner.
Next time you can.
Yes, somebody who attended the meeting would be great.
Oh, that would be good.
I so move.
Okay, second.
I second.
Okay.
Thank you. Commissioners Patel,
Yes.
Sardar Begian,
Yes.
Wolfson is absent. Commissioner Meek, you would abstain, correct?
Yes.
And President Kalfayan.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 7, reports information only. At A is Recreation and Community Services Section Monthly Activity Report for August 2021.
Good afternoon, President Kaufman, members of the Commission. My name is Subagar Abidin, and I will be doing the monthly activity report for the recreation section. Let me share my screen. Give me one moment. And we're good to go, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, recreation, since our last meeting, since June of 2021, we've had quite a few activities going on. But let's start with what's open and what's closed. Basically, just about everything in our department is back in operation in person, with the exception of our senior Conrad Meals program, our senior exercise classes, which are still being offered virtually, drop-in table tennis at the Adult Recreation Center, and the senior mixer at the Adult Recreation Center. So most of these classes at the Adult Recreation Center are offered in our dining hall, and the dining hall is still being used to support our home delivered meals program. So once our senior congregate meals could return in person, when we could start moving that room around and start utilizing the room for all the other activities that typically take place. With regards to the current protocols, everyone, regardless of vaccination status, must be wearing a face mask while indoors in our facilities at all times. So that is the current rule. As long as they meet that current rule, then our staff don't need to intervene. When they walk in without a mask, we will provide a mask and we can then assist the customer respectively. So our summer day camp program began and ended since our last meeting. It began on June 14, 2021. It ended this past Friday, August 13, 2021, specifically at 6 p.m. 48 hours after the end of the day camp program puts us at yesterday at 6 p.m. and we are good to go. We didn't get any additional notices. On June 1, in June, we had 1,202 participants participating in a program at 5 locations. June was approximately 3 weeks long. And in July, we had 2,173 participants at 6 locations because at the end of July, we opened up our Vertigo skate camp and our grounds beginner skate camp. During the summer camp program, we had 5 closures due to positive tests, which impacted about 164 participants. And the closures occurred at various facilities, including Pacific, Verdugo, Brand, and Spar Heights Community Center. On August 3, we had National Night Out at 3 of our parks facilities. Those facilities included Pacific Community Center, Glen Oaks Park, and Adams Square Mini Park. Adams Square Mini Park, we had the climbing wall, part of our mobile recreation package, visit that facility. While at Pacific Community Center, we had the mobile LED screen, and Glen Oaks Park, all we did was provide the park and make sure, parks maintenance staff made sure that it was ready for use for the evening. Summer concerts in the park began and ended, so we had 6 summer concerts during this summer. They started on July 7th, and the last one was held on August 11, 2021. There were Wednesday evenings at Verdugo Park. The first concert started at 7 p.m. And on July 21 and 28, we had Imagine Theater present 4 Clowns, a children-friendly pre-show. And the pre-show was held on 2 occasions, like I said, on the 21st and 28th from 6 p.m. After the pre-show, the concerts began. Very popular event. A lot of people were very understanding. They tried maintaining their distancing. There was no protocols. Masks weren't necessarily required. People were in masks, however, and they were very mindful of each other and being close. On 4th of July, we had Joel City Sparkles, first time in Glendale, where the city of Glendale operated a fireworks show. Here you see some pictures in front of downtown Glendale Library at Central Park, where the people had a mask to watch the fireworks because it was from across the street from the rooftop. Here's some picture. There's a picture of Central Park and fireworks behind the library from the rooftop. And it was a very popular event. People were encouraged to come and dine in downtown Glendale, reactivate or re-energize downtown Glendale, stay around for the fireworks show, and then go home. Also in July, we had Glendale Cruise 2021. With the protocols changing so close to the date of cruise night, and cruise night typically planning begins back in January, we decided to keep last year's event and use it again, last year's model, and use it again for this year. So we encourage people to cruise down Brand Boulevard between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. in their classic cars. For those who prefer to park their vehicles, they're welcome to do so. Come out, enjoy the various restaurants and shops in downtown Glendale, and basically participate in the event in a safe manner. And that was on July 17th. Our volunteer trail maintenance program reconvened in April with small pre-approved volunteer clusters. In-person programming is going to return in August, if it hasn't done so already, with campfire programs. Beginning September, our wilderness workdays and nature hikes will begin and will be available to the public on a limited capacity basis, so participants need to RSVP. And moving forward, our virtual senior programs continue to take place. We had one presentation each month in July and August. One of them was about dementia, and the LA Found tracking bracelets, two different presentations. Youth and Family Services, our STAR program, had its end of the year barbecue, and they said bye to their officer, Officer Akopian, who is now going to a different section in Glendale Police Department. On July 27, they had their first in-person meeting and have been continuing to meet in person since, and are looking forward to the start of school and continuing their programs like they used to prior to all the closures. Youth and Family Services are still having their virtual workshops. They will resume in person starting in September. Our June's presentation lineup included essential workers in the community, healthy relationships for teens, building self-confidence, how to manage credit cards, and debt for teens. July's presentations included resources at the Verdugo Job Center, how to become a police cadet, creating a space for teens at the library, best college fit for me, and internet safety for teens. Our therapeutic recreation programs resumed online, and starting today, actually, at 4 p.m., they will return to in-person for the first time since the initial closures with Get Fit. And on Thursday evenings, we will have Club Maple. Both therapeutic recreation programs are at Maple Park, and they're very happy to finally return in person as well. Again, the same protocols apply. As long as they are inside the facility, they need to be wearing a face covering. And that concludes my presentation. If any of you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
It looks like we had a very good summer, very active despite the COVID-19. A good job from all of us. I want to give a chance for Commissioner Patel to give her comments.
Yes, thank you. Quite impressive length of programs that happened this summer. Congratulations on being able to provide the community quite a lot of activities despite the current pandemic situation. You mentioned that there were 5 closures during the summer camp weeks. Is that correct?
President Coffey and Commissioner Patel, that is correct. We had 5 total closures, about 164 kids.
May I ask, how did you determine the COVID cases? Were there weekly testing going on? Was there weekly testing going on at the camps, or was this voluntary reports?
President Coffey and Commissioner Patel, the COVID exposures are notifications from the person who tested positive. We ourselves do not conduct the weekly testing, neither for the participants or our staff. So if somebody suspects that they were in exposure to COVID, they go take a test. Based on the test result, they would notify us that they tested positive, which would result in the subsequent closures. Now, the closures happen from various sources, either staff or participants. And basically, once we know that somebody tested positive, we go 48 hours out, see who's been in attendance at that campsite, and notify respectively of who needs to quarantine for 7 to 10 days based on their status.
So if I'm clear, then anyone who's come in contact with the individual who reported a positive case, they are sent home to quarantine for 10 days? Is that what you said, 10 to 14 days?
President Coffey and Commissioner Patel, that is correct. It's a first-hand exposure. So whoever was first-hand exposed to the person who tested positive for COVID-19 up to 48 hours prior to the test date, those are the ones that are asked to quarantine at home.
Got it.
So,
Thank you.
So it could be, no problem. It could be a camper because of a counselor, or it could be counselors because of campers, whatever the case may be. So whoever's first-hand exposure.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for being so thorough about that, and also for taking the safety precautions that you did this summer. So there are some activities that you said will be resuming in person that weren't previously. Do I have that right?
Correct, President Coffey and members of the commission. For example, our Get Fit program and our Club Maple program, our therapeutic recreation program for intellectually disabled adults, that program will resume in person starting today. And basically, when our Other programs started to resume on July 1st or close to July 1st, depending on the frequency of those programs. It could have been the following Monday. We decided that we would keep therapeutic recreation to start after the summer day camp program for two reasons. Number one, they would be in the same rooms that our children are in the next day for day camp. So the turnaround time and staffing for sanitizing and cleaning those rooms was a little bit of a challenge for us, considering that we were very low on our staff and their availability. And the other reason was we would have to mix our staff. And the population that we're serving, we didn't feel it would be right because we would be mixing our staff. Now we would be technically cross-contaminating by way of the staff. So we decided to wait for one program to end to launch the other.
Yeah, thank you for your care and consideration on that matter. How will you be proceeding if an individual in some of these new in-person activities does report a positive case?
Good question, Commissioner Patel, members of the commission. So basically, every participant that's coming to our facilities needs to sign in through our front desk as part of their requirement. Just about every activity that we have has a check-in system set up. So our check-in system will monitor who's coming in on what day and what time. So based on that, we know we have the information because the check-in is done via activity cards, membership cards. So we know their address, home phone number, and date of birth and their gender at a minimum, along with an email address preferably. So based on that information, we could tell. So if somebody were to come in on Monday, for example, during our Get Fit program, which is from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and we are notified on Thursday that the person tested positive, then we have to go back and see when the test happened and when we go back 48 hours from there. And it's basically the same policy and attendance that we used in our day camp program and applying it to any other in-person programming. So while we're talking about Get Fit, for example, our senior programs that are in person, whether it's the billiards room or backgammon, dominoes, chess, et cetera, those programs have been going on since July 1st. And if we are notified of an exposure based on the sign-in, daily sign-in and attendance, that's how we would know how to notify and contact people.
Great. Thank you for answering all my questions.
No problem.
Okay. Let's, Commissioner Meek.
I would like to, and it doesn't necessarily have to happen right now, but I would like more information on the home deliveries program. Can you tell me who I should be in touch with regarding that?
Sure, President Kaufman, Commissioner Meek. The home delivered meals program is for seniors that are older. It's a LA County funded program, or it's in partnership with LA County. And we basically provide one frozen meal per week, per day per week, so 7 meals. And the way it works is participants who are interested could call our adult recreation center, fill out the county intake form over the phone, and they will be added to a route. Depending on where they live, they'll get a delivery on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, whatever the week of it is. So the number for the adult recreation center is 818. If you want to take a moment and write it down. 818-548-3775.
Okay.
It's for seniors 60 years of age and older. We offer 2 options. You could do frozen meal delivery, or you could do in-person pickup. The difference between the two is in-person, the food is, you're able to eat it that day, except you would have to show up every single day to do and pick up your food. While frozen, you just store it in your freezer and heat it up and serve.
Okay. How long have we been doing this?
I want to say over 30 years, but I have to defer to Teresa and Onig.
Commissioner, President Kalfan, Commissioner Meek, yes, the city has been doing it for a very long time. It is in the past, before COVID, there was 2 different programs, which was the Congregate Meals Program, which used to take place on site, and we had 3 community centers where we were serving food. And then there was the home delivered meals, and that was specifically for seniors who are bedbound and can't get to a community center to get food. With COVID, things have changed a little, and the city has gotten additional funding, and because our congregate meal sites have been closed, we've been doing home deliveries like Sevok stated. So until our community centers are able to open back up and become congregate meal sites, we will continue to offer either home delivered meals or the in-person pickup. It is based on capacity, of course, and funding availability. Last year, we didn't really have any problems because we got additional funding, but this year's funding levels are not at the same level yet, but we are expecting to get more money because obviously the pandemic is still not over, and the county provides federal funds, and we also apply for Meals on Wheels of America grant funds. So we get local and grant funding as well. So qualifications are a little different now than they would be, for home delivered meals pre-pandemic, but they are available for seniors. And to date, we haven't turned anybody away. And in the last year, we've had over 200% increase in the number of meals we've provided. So we were serving up to 14,000 meals a month, and during this the last year and a half, and so we were averaging about that amount, whereas previously we were serving about 3,600 meals.
Wow. That is impressive. And I thank you so much for doing that to help our community.
President Kaufman, if I may, sorry to intervene, Teresa. Staff is also reminding me that the home delivered meal status is based on a homebound status confirmed by a doctor. So there's got to be a doctor's note if the person is homebound. That's how they would be eligible for the home delivered meals. And the program began in 1979, so 42 years, 40 plus years.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Commissioner Sardabakian.
You're on mute.
Sorry, I keep muting myself. I know a few people that were part of running the program at one of the sites, and everything, all the feedback that I've gotten from them, along with some parents that had kids over there, was just nothing but positive. So I think that's amazing that this program was run, especially given the entire situation with COVID and all that stuff. So I think, especially going from last summer to now, it was a very, very positive and impactful program. So thank you and great job.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Iris, next item, please.
Item 7B, Parks Services Section, Monthly Activity Report for May and June 2021.
Okay. Thank you, Iris. Good afternoon, Commissioner Kalfaya, members of Commission. I will be reporting on the Park Services activities for the month of May and June. The month of May, we completed 1,058 work orders, of which 1,027 were completed by groundskeepers, 5 were pesticide application related, and then 26 were irrigation repair for a total labor hours of 1,575. And in the month of June, it was 815 work orders, groundskeepers at 786. Pesticide application was 4 work orders, and irrigation crew completed 25 work orders for labor hours of 1,189. We do have a presentation to share for the last couple of months of activities. We've been a little busy. Please let me know if the screen is shared. Seems like it.
It is visible.
It's showing.
Wonderful, thank you. So first up at Verdugo Park, at the entrance to Verdugo Park, we have a little triangle where it kind of divides the park into two. You're able to take the one going north to get to Colina, and the other one leads down to the southern part of the park in the parking lot. And the vegetation there, we noticed, was not up to par. We had 2 liquid amber trees that were in decline. We had our forestry team evaluate it, determine it was best to remove. And while we're removing the trees, we decided why not plant an oak tree there and then redo the landscaping. As such, forestry helped in removal of the 2 liquid amber trees. Our staff went back in, cleared the entire vegetation, adjusted the sprinklers as always, and then with the help of forestry, we planted the oak tree. It is a coast live oak, as well as landscaped it to make the entrance to the park more aesthetic, as we would want to see it. At Tukmajan Park, We had reported on this challenge a while back. If you remember, about a year ago, we had a drain here that would channel the water from the southern end of the developed area of the park. It would channel the water through the DG. And a couple of different times it clogged up and then it collapsed. So we decided to take a different approach. Instead of fixing the drain it was, we decided to put in a channel, a concrete channel that would actually divert the water all the way from one end where it collects off the DG walkway down to the opposite end where the drains are. So our staff went in, did the excavation, formed the area for the concrete, and you see the picture on the left is the north end, right by the walkway, and the picture on the right is where the drain is and the water being channeled. There's no water yet, of course, no rain, but that's where the water would channel to the drain. And here's a picture of it standing back, looking into the park. We had requests from our friends at GWP. We occasionally work with different departments when they have requests for landscaping. This one was at the Rosemoy substation. It's on Glen Oaks and Jackson. And they actually had the area landscape. They wanted to spruce it up and liven it up a lot quicker. So our crews went in with their direction and replanted some of the area. Did some digging and trenching. As we know, with it is drought tolerant landscaping. That was what originally was there, and we just enhanced it and put in some plants, the trees that you see here, to give it an immediate aesthetic pleasing look to kind of block the wall in the back. And so after our guys completed the job, this is what it looks like. My mouse froze. And there it is. Here's what it looks like. And two different sides of the street. We have a couple of angles to show you the landscape. Turned out to be a very nice, beautiful landscape. And this was worked on with GWP's direction and with their input on what they wanted to see at this location, the substation. The Comfort Women Monument that was located in the Adult Recreation Center Central Park, if you recall from this picture, it was the triangle, the rectangle that was down here was its original location. Now, given that Central Park has been is being prepared to close, put the fencing up for the construction of the museum, which is to commence anytime now as they have their permits, it was determined to move it over to the other side. Now the rectangles actually don't line up perfectly as I move the, it looks like I moved the aerial and they didn't move. The actual location is right over north of where they are. But in any case, here's where it used to be originally. And this is an original picture that we found online. Recently, we have planted in the background with some planting requested by the Korean American Forum individuals that we work with. And here's this new location. Public Works hired a contractor to make the move from its current location to this location, which is just north of the Central Park ARC building. And after they placed in place, we laid out a landscape all around the perimeter as requested by the group. And here's the finished look. It's going to remain here for the time being until Central Park construction starts. At that time, we will determine what the new location would be. At Brant Park, at the Japanese garden, the Friendship Tea House, the pond tends to, on an annual basis, require some cleanup, as with debris, dirt, and algae that grows in there. So our crew went in. This is the upper level of the pond. Went in and we cleaned the drain, the entire pond upper layer, cleaned out all the dirt and debris, rechanneled all the water after cleaning the filters, and got new water to be filled in. And you've noticed, Commission might remember in the past, we've done this after we fill the water, we actually lay out the water hyacinths on top too to control a little bit of the algae. And there's a picture of the entire flow as the system was turned back on from the northern part of the waterfall all the way down under the bridge. And you notice the water hyacinths that were put in place after the job was completed and down into the pond. Now, the pond had shown a lot of stress over the past couple of months, and we did have a lot of algae. But as they completed the project, the water started clearing up, and then here's what the condition of the pond looked like currently. Miss American Green Cross. A lot of people don't know this exists. Miss American Crisscross is Green Cross. Is a statue at the northern end of Brand Park, just north of the library. You probably have driven by it and not really seen it because it is hidden in the trails right before the trails start in the back, right by the yard here. This is a drive-by view from a Google view because we didn't have a full one beforehand. Here's what it looked like. Over time, it had deteriorated. And after the work that was completed on the Comfort Women's statue at the Adult Recreation Center, we saw how amazing that work was. So we hired the same contractor that work to convert this statue, get it clean, the bronze, and at the end, bring it to life. And then once they cleaned that, the entire statue all the way down to the base, we had it all covered and cleaned. And turned out to be very beautiful. I think it's something we're going to continue doing as we see further deterioration down the road. At Pelanconi Park, this is going to be the picnic shelters. We talked about this in one of our commission meetings. We went in and removed all the existing, all broken down aluminum picnic tables south of the restroom at the park. And we brought in new concrete tables, as has been our a model going forth. Had them distributed all around the picnic area. There were 6 concrete tables that were placed, and the area was pressure washed right before, and some dirt added to the perimeter as we noticed the dirt was shrinking and created a tripping hazard for folks. So we have a new picnic shelter in this area. Next up would be the barbecues. Looking at replacing those barbecues to make it brand new. Some of them are in good condition, so we might wait a little bit to see if they're going to deteriorate further. And here's a completed view of the new picnic area. Montrose Shopping Park. We partnered with our friends at Public Works Engineering. Some of you may have heard or noticed that for the farmers market they hold on the Sundays, they need to block off a couple of the streets to avoid from vehicles from going through the farmers market for safety. And in working with engineering, the Montrose Shopping Park Association had identified the mechanism that would pull strings across the road to cover on the other side. And once it was constructed, these were the boxes that were built by the contractor to be placed on top. Now, the association had a number of concerns. One, aesthetically, it's not as pleasing. And it is a lot larger, so functionality made it difficult for individuals to get inside and make the adjustment necessary to pull the rings across and close up the street. And also because it is metal, it got really hot and it's glared. Cars can actually see a glare off of that during the day. So in working with them, we designed and determined how best to do this. We removed all of those boxes and brought them down to the yard and securely saved them down here to be returned to the contractor. And our crews designed and manufactured the new boxes that I'm about to show you. Everything was done with our guys in-house down here at the yard, as you've seen us do in the past. And the frames were built. First, we actually start with a prototype, which I don't have a picture of to show you. Prototype to test it out for the size and how it's going to function. The group really appreciated the prototype. Then we went into actual full construction mode. This was the metal frame for the solid frame to help it be more sturdy. And then the panels that were slowly attached to it all around. You'll see it as it continues to progress. What you see right over here is this is what we built, a door that can fold down to allow easy access to the equipment, making it easier for individuals with different abilities to make this functional, don't have to be 10 feet high to bend over and be able to work it. And as the final touches are put on the box, it became finally ready for the lacquer and the paint to have it sustain in the weather conditions. Then it was transported. They were transported by 2 and then placed at their locations. Now, in one of the locations, the area we had to excavate and add a little more concrete to allow room for the boxes to actually fit it perfectly and be level and sturdy as we were securing them to the concrete ground. What I had mentioned earlier, this is what is used to get it across, and we need to cover this for people's safety as well as its safety. And you will see as the staff finalize pouring in the concrete, the footing where the boxes are going to sit on. This was the Honolulu and Verdugo intersection. And here it is in place. We've gotten some positive feedback from individuals that visit the shopping park as well as the MSBA board, because the boxes we have built are more aesthetically pleasing and more functional. And I asked our weekend supervisor to get out there this weekend, take pictures of it in action. Here it is again at the Ocean View intersection. We have them at Ocean View, Verdugo, and Macomb on the other side. I think it's Macomb. And this is it. This is what it would look like. Right through those holes that we created, lined up straight across. It gets pulled, hooked on, and it gets wound tight so that that when cars are trying to get through, they will not. This actually stops vehicles from going through it. And this is another angle of the same intersection. Grant Park T-ball field. Commission might remember last year council approved capital projects budget to construct a T-ball field at Grant Park. Now, we already have a Little League field at Grant Park, you notice in this picture. And the southern end of this rectangle over here is where a T-ball park used to be many, many years ago. But it became not as active of a park. It was just used by soccer players on the weekends. And then occasionally, individuals get out there with balls to play. At the request of the Little League and individuals in the community, we got on board and asked for the funding, council approved, and we started the project. This is what it looked like previously. This was the backstop. As you can see, it had already been worn down. It had worn boxes in the back. These are storage bins for the Little Leagues. First things first, as we've done with these projects, is removing of the existing turf. So what you see here is the equipment we call the turf stripper, and it literally shaves off the top inch of the turf along with a little bit of dirt, and that gets pushed over to the trucks that are right next to it. They literally drive by each other, it strips the turf, fills it in, and those trucks get moved on to a location. The material we remove, we actually reuse in some of our parks in filling in holes, gopher holes, and at times use it as mulch in some facilities. So the excavation commenced for about a week with getting all the lines, the irrigation heads removed for it to be able to come in. Equipment went through, cleared it all out. And this is what we had at the end when all the turf was removed. Now it's ready for lining up the irrigation and getting the second phase of the project going. Hence the trenching. We started trenching down at the south end of the park to connect with the main line. And the entire irrigation of the ball field was redone. One of the reasons is because we're going to have the infield is going to be grass, and then we're going to add your typical, just like you would in any little league, it's going to have the brick dust around it for the bases. So the irrigation was completely redesigned, and the trenching was completed within 2 weeks of start, and the pipes started going in. Now on the backside of the backside of the backstop, we're continuing to trench as the lines are going to continue going all the way to the north end of the ball field. Staff went in, trenched the necessary holes, ran the pipes, connections to the main line and the laterals, making sure everything worked out, installed all the valves, and it says coming soon. I can report that the irrigation portion of the project is completed. The sprinklers are installed, and it has good coverage. We have next is the grinding and the laser leveling. We have a contract being finalized with our purchasing department. We already have the sod contract in place with a vendor to come in and lay out the sod. The backstop, we wanted to order a new backstop. The new backstop has been ordered. That will be going in first to allow us to line everything up, and then fencing along the side of the backstop. And this project is, commencing on schedule. We are supposed to turn this back over to the community in December, and we believe will be done ahead of time, allowing for the newly installed sod to root until it's time so the Little League and the T-ball players get on it. That is the conclusion of this presentation. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Ladies first, of course.
Is that my invitation?
Yes.
Okay, wow, what a thorough report, and how many great new updates that you've done to our maintenance of our parks. Thank you so much for all that hard work, and also that thorough list of jobs that you've been able to complete this past month. I had a couple questions. The first one, the Duke Majian Park, the trench that you were able to put in to divert the water. Was there any consideration about ways to collect any water for future use? Just to be able to use it as gray water, or any kind of consideration to be able to capture that water?
Commissioner Patel, President Kalfan, Commissioner Patel, at the time we were doing the project, no, because to collect what you're proposing would require a little more engineering work for us to get out there and create the opportunity to. And this was for safety purpose, that the water running down the DG path creates ruts and makes it impossible for individuals to get through, tripping hazards and whatnot. So the initial intent was, let's get the safety of it addressed. And it's not water to the levels of, you're able to capture, we're not having like gushing water coming down. So at the time, we did not consider it. I'm not going to lie. It was more the safety issue that we wanted to address in the beginning. Now, what you're proposing will be something we have to get engineering involved and look for future abilities to collect the rainwater that's coming down at any of our facilities. That would be not just the Duke Majian one, but that will be something to work with engineering on for future projects.
Sure. Yeah, I just want to identify the fact that the opening page for the glendale.gov site does recognize that we are in a drought and we need to conserve water. And in future projects, we might want to consider ways in which we might be able to trap that water and be able to use it for future use. I understand there wasn't a considerable waterway, but these are thoughts to maybe think about in the future when we're doing smaller projects. How can we start incorporating some of these safety issues also into larger projects that might allow us to capture some of this stormwater, if even that's the right word, any kind of water that we that we get. So my next question, those wooden boxes are amazing. I want some. They're beautiful, really beautiful. And I just want to point out what a great way to prevent the heat island effect. Anything we can do in Glendale to prevent further heat island effects on our city as we increase temperatures every summer. And this is a small one, but a really beautiful one. You came up with such a great solution on how to handle that particular challenge of having to put a storage box there. Also, yeah, I wanted to ask you about the Brand Park. Well, I guess that goes to the same question that I mentioned earlier about Duke Majian. I understand that you were putting in a lot of irrigation lines in order to water the grass there. And you know me, I'm a big proponent of anything we can do to keep natural turf. Again, I guess there wasn't any plan per se about how to put in bioswales or other things of that nature that might allow us to capture some of that water that might be runoff.
Yeah, well, luckily for us, Commissioner Patel, Brad Park is irrigated with reclaimed water, so everything is being tied to our recycled water that feeds the irrigation of Brad. So with that in mind, when it's natural turf and we are using recycled water, we prefer to let the water naturally drain into the soil. And with the new construction, it allows us to do that. There's not much compaction on a new grass field, so it will absorb more rainwater as it comes down. But it is reclaimed water, so we are using and I know you're a big proponent of that. Any facility that we have the ability, we use it for our irrigation.
Love that. Love hearing that. Yes, the more reclaimed water that we can use, the better for our environment, the better for the city's pocketbook. So that's really great to hear. Thank you so much.
Sure, sure.
Thank you. Commissioner Meek?
You're on mute.
Go. I second Ms. Patel's things about saving water anywhere we can, because this drought may be going on for some time. I want to thank you for all the things that you've been doing. Some of these look absolutely terrific. I'm going to have to go back and visit Brand Park again to see how you've restored that fountain or pond or waterfall, and see the progress on the T-ball field too. So I want to thank you for all you're doing and what you're doing for there. I do want to get up to the Dukmajian Park and check things out. That's one of the few parks I haven't been able to visit yet, because I want to see how the Stone Barn is doing. So that's all I have to say, and thank you very much.
That's a requirement before you get commissioner. You have to go to Dukmajian's.
Well, I've been there. I just haven't been in the barn.
That's kind of my fault. I owe a tour to also Commissioner Sardar Begyan, as well as a tour for you, Commissioner Meek. Due to COVID, we've kind of stop the tours until things get better, but if you two are comfortable, I'll be more than happy to set something up individually, and I'll take you around to the parks that you haven't been to.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Commissioner Sardarbekian?
You're on mute.
I've actually, I drive by Brand Park every day, and every time I pass by, I'm waiting for the field to finish. I live very close to it, so it's something that I can't wait for, and I think it was about time that was done. There is something, another idea I have, but we could discuss that at a different time, about a new sport that a lot of younger kids are playing, and it could be a cool project for the city of Glendale. But I think the wooden box, instead of the aluminum, I love the look of the aluminum. I think the wood one doesn't look as appealing, but just imagining and being an attorney, I always, get cases where it's like weird facts, and having that shiny thing hit your eye, or having it heat up to 160 or 107 degrees and have a kid, put their hand on it and burn, and, all kinds of liability issues that I see in, everything that we do across the city. So I think that was an amazing solution to that problem. So good job.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item, please. Iris.
Next is item 7C, Arabella Ishkanian's Eagle Scout project. President Kalfai and members of the commission, staff respectfully request moving this item to the next meeting.
Iris, it was hard to hear you. Commissioner Kalfayan, today was Ms. Arabella Ishkanian's first day of school, and unfortunately she wasn't going to be able to join us until later in the afternoon. And we, assuming, given the agenda, we're going to end this meeting early, we are rescheduling that to September. So we're going to re-invite Ms. Arabella Ishkanian to make a presentation, Eagle Scout presentation to commission. In short, individuals at times reach out to our department and they want to do a project. We identified a very nice project that required work to be done, and Ms. Arabella and her scout team took on the project, completed it just on schedule, the way they had a program. So we wanted to have her present that to you, and we'd love to do that in the month of September, schedule permitting.
Okay. Do we have any other questions before we adjourn the meeting? Anyone? Okay. Nice to have you with us, Commissioner Meek. It's looks like you're going to bring us a lot of positive energy, and we'll face all the challenges together. So this meeting will be adjourned. Our next meeting will be on the 20th of September.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.